For anyone that's interested, I have a Google Doc of roughly what the plan is. Try to keep it up to date to at least the next session, if not the next two. Tonight's mostly going to be about set up a couple quick accounts just to get things rolling. If you have a laptop or desktop that you're watching from or that you want to work from and work along with me, it's cool. We're just going to be using one website to set up an account quick and then a second website to do our actual work. And that's it. There's nothing to install, which is super nice, super convenient for everyone. And our second website, CodeSandbox, will also allow us to work together on things. So if you have questions, you can send me a link to yours and I can help you out, or I can send you links to mine so you can see what I'm doing as well, which is pretty nice. Probably wait one more minute here just in case anyone else wants to join. Every night, my goal right now is Monday and Tuesday nights for web development. We'll see if people are really interested in me doing it more nights and I have the time, then yeah, I'll try some more nights. If not, then I don't know, kind of figure it out as it goes, I guess. I do stream games some other nights though, and on weekends too, so who knows, maybe I could switch some of the game time to be programming time and some of the programming time to be game time. Alright, so about 7:05, so for everyone that's here and anyone that's joining later, first website you have to go to is github.com. I'm going to go over this more later, but initially we just need an account so that we can save our work, essentially. I can go into more details later on why GitHub, but in general, it's just a really great and easy tool to use for saving programming work or just any text document work you're working on. Like if you have legal documents you need to save and you want to see what happens to them over time, or just schoolwork even, I guess. You could do that as well. So I'm going to sign into my account. And I already have an account, so this will be a little bit faster for me. But I do recommend this. And that's all we're going to do. In general, you can see from mine that I have a bunch of projects over here that I've worked on over time, and it's got a bunch of information, but really, right now, we're just concerned with creating the account. And then, once you have that, the next website we're going to go to is CodeSandbox. And I'll give everyone just a minute or two just to make sure they get their GitHub account up. The reason we want the GitHub account right now is because CodeSandbox lets us sign in through a GitHub account. You could also use a Google account if you want. It's just having the GitHub account will be nice later on when we go to update our work, change our work, actually put our website up for other people to see. That GitHub account will come in real nice and handy. So, assuming you are done with setting up your GitHub account, and please, if I'm going too fast, please feel free to let me know. But anyways, once you've got your GitHub account, go to CodeSandbox, we're going to click sign in, and we're going to sign in with that GitHub account. And then it should have us signed in. So CodeSandbox is a website for building web apps, websites, however you want to talk about it, think about it. But it provides us with a really nice place to have all of our projects, to share our projects, and then also to, because it's a browser and it's all cloud save, we can save, or we can access our projects from any computer we want to, as long as we can sign in. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to start up here with the blue one, the blue Create Sandbox button up here. Brings up the same menu as this new sandbox one over here. And then we are just going to go with a vanilla sandbox. I have some recently used ones because I do use this website every now and then. If you do not, then you can look at under official templates, and there should be a vanilla by CodeSandbox. So we're going to select that one. And then it will take a while, and eventually everything will load up for us. And the first thing we see is that basically in the left middle, we have some code over here. It's fine. On the right side, we should have a preview. If that doesn't show up, you can try clicking the little refresh button. There we go. And it says, hello vanilla, which is awesome. That's exactly what we want to see. And that's also partially why I like using this website and why I wanted to introduce you to it. It's because we can change our code and see the results right away, which I think is very important when you're working on a project. Over on the far left here, we got our files. So this is basic file menu selection. If you're like in Windows Explorer, or if you're on a Mac and you're in Finder, this is basically like looking at that. And then we have a bunch of other ones over here. You do notice there is a little GitHub icon. Again, really handy once we start getting into that stuff. So, first thing I wanted to focus on tonight is just some HTML. Just get started into some HTML, because if you're working in the web, you pretty much have to know HTML. So if you have your files on the side, and if this, for whatever reason, is not showing up, there's this little document looking button that is labeled Explorer. If you hover over it, you click that, you can show and hide your files. So if you ever lose them for whatever reason, just look for that little button. All right, but we're going to go to index.html, should show up here. The little or the italicized name means that it's kind of open, but if we click around, it's going to close it. If you double click, then it stays open. Stays there, or if you click and start typing in here, it will also stay open. A couple other things to notice. Initially it has this little X right here. Then you can click to close it. If you start typing, it turns into a circle. That means that you have unsaved changes. So if you want those changes to save, if I click close, and I go back in, saved for me. Pretty nice. I was not aware of that. But anyways, yeah, unsaved changes. All right, so this is HTML. If you want to, you can just start changing things in here as you see fit. For example, we're going to get rid of this one that called script right there. We're just going to delete that, and you can just type in hello Twitch, if I can spell, and it appears, which is really awesome. So it's really awesome that you can just start getting things up right away. We're also going to get rid of this div here. We don't need that right now. We're not learning about that. So, all right, HTML. So this part always goes at the top. I'm not going to go into details as why, but it's always generally a nice thing to have, this doc type HTML. After that, we have a tag here. Our tags always start with a little opening arrow bracket or less than symbol or whatever you want to name it. And then we get a bunch of suggestions for what we want to put in there. Our first one's always HTML, and then it ends with a little closing bracket or greater than symbol. An element also always has a closing tag, which is the same, but it has this little extra slash in it. I always remember the slash. Sometimes the browser will help you out, and sometimes CodeSandbox will help you out, but in general, always remember the slash. Inside of our HTML, we have two parts. We have the head, which is information about your website, like your title. That's the part that goes way up here in your browser, and when you're looking at tabs, that's the title. That's the name you're looking at. And then this meta stuff, don't have to worry about that right now. There's a bunch of other things that can go in there, but don't need to worry about those right now. Out. Wolf and the Rise Mom, what is out? Keep going for now. So after head, we've got body. Body is where all the information that gets displayed to your user goes. Person viewing your website. That's all of this. All this white space, that's body. So if we type anything in here and hit Control S to save, that's what ends up right here. So some fun little things to put in our body. There are some heading tags. They are H followed by a number 1 through 6. The smaller the number, the bigger it's going to look. So we can put an H1 in and say, type welcome to my website. And then we don't forget to put in our closing one. And there we go, welcome to my website. Nice big. If we want to make it smaller, we can go back and change these to an H2. It's a little bit smaller. And then all the way down to an H6, really tiny. I'm going to leave that at an H1. And if you're wondering how I'm doing this so fast, I'm using Control Z to undo, which works just in here like it does in Microsoft Word or Excel or anything else you use. Some other fun ones. We've got an image tag. Now this one's a little different. This one requires a source. Can ignore this error right now. But we need a source. We need something to put in there. So if we go out to Google, and I'm going to search for a picture of a husky. Maybe I can find one that looks like our dog. Or maybe I can find a goofy one. Here's a good goofy one. We'll open up, link in a new tab. And then I'm going to right click this and I am going to copy image location. And what that does is if I paste that in my browser, that should just give me the dog itself, which is awesome. That's exactly what I want. I'm going to go back over to CodeSandbox, put in a double quote, I'm going to paste that in. And the image is a little weird. Instead of a single one and then caret or line slash image or slash image. So instead of doing that to close it, this one's a little weird, we just get to do slash closing. And hey, now we got a nice picture of our dog on. Sorry, just reading a message here related to this. Sorry about that, Wolf. Wolf and Rise Mom dropped off. I was moving a little too fast, I guess, for them. Hopefully I'm moving at a good speed for everyone else. I'll have to get back to them later. So there's an image. And you might say, hey, Wolfgang, that image is pretty big. You have to scroll to see it all. It's true. Well, we can add things called attributes. You can say, okay, well, I want that to be 400 pixels wide. Resize it for me. There are a bunch of different attributes to go over. I'm not going to go over them all because there are way too many. In general, I would say, let's see here. This is one up. If you want to look up documentation about what is available to you, Mozilla's website is a pretty good one for looking up that information. If you ever need to find it, I always just Google for MDN. Type that in the chat. just in case, MDN, and then your search term. And that usually will help get you pretty far towards what you need. So we got that. Some other good ones to know. We got an unordered list, or UL, and then we'll close that. Inside of an unordered list, we can put some list items, or LI, and we'll close that. And we can put in item 1. I'm going to copy and paste that. Item 2, and as you can see, we get ourselves a nice bulleted list. You can change the look of that to do whatever you want, basically. What else? We've got a paragraph, or P, and then we'll add in our closing tag for that. This is exactly what it says. This is a paragraph. Hello, everyone. Hope you're having a great evening. So yeah, just gives us a nice paragraph. If our screen is really small, it'll do some nice wrapping for us. We don't have to do anything. It will handle all of that for us. That way, if the person viewing your website's on a phone, they get the wrapping. If they're on a big desktop, they don't get wrapping, and it's all very nice and easy. All right. So those are some of the main ones I wanted to cover. There are plenty more to go over. Way more than even I am aware of. I find new ones every now and then, but I would say this is a good overview of some of the things you can do. So then, we have our website. Looks okay. Not great, but it looks okay. It's very, very white. Some very boring fonts, and it's all kind of jumbled up together in this top left corner. So, next thing we get to do is we get to add some styling. For example, the first and easiest way to add some styling is an attribute called style. You can add multiple things in there. You can put multiple styles on each of these elements. Most of them work with all the elements. Some of them only work with specific elements, but it's kind of try it and see what happens, or look it up on MDN. So, for example, at style equals double quotes, and the first one we're going to do is color. Color is for the color of your text. So welcome to my website. Let's see what it looks like if I do orange. And you get orange. Not super readable, but hey, it's still fun to play with. We could also try an orange red. Slightly matches our husky a little bit, which is kind of fun. What else? We can also do, if you want to add more in here, you separate them with a semicolon. We could add one called text dash decoration, and I'm going to give that underline. Okay, now we're underlined. Another one that's, this is a title, should be kind of centered. We can do text dash align, colon, space, and then center. Okay. Now our title is centered on our web page. No matter how wide or narrow it gets, it always says centered. But as you can see, this gets a little hard to read. It's stretching a little far. Even if I get rid of my files and I move everything over, that's pretty hard to read. Like, that's not super comfortable to read. So, up in our head, we can add a tag or an element called style. Add our little closing. I'll line those up just to look nice. It doesn't technically have to be lined up, but I like to have it lined up. Just a little bit easier to read. All right, and then we want to copy and paste all of this up into here. And then I'm going to put each of these on its own line. And then I gotta come down here. I gotta get rid of this. Everything from style up into the little here. So this should. I forgot. I accidentally deleted too far. All right. As you can see, we've lost all of our styling though. Not what we wanted, but we'll get there. So we want to apply this to our H1 up here. So we could, if we want to, type H1 space curly bracket, and then we can come down here and we can add a curly bracket down here, and add a little space. That should. Well, it's supposed to act it. I am actually confused as to why that is not adding it. Alright, well, I'll skip to the next part. Typically you don't want to do it that way. Typically you want to add what is called a class. Name, we'll call this title, because we want our title to look that way. And instead of H1 we'll do dot title. Not sure why that is not working. Stay on page. Save again. Let's refresh again. There we go. Okay, so I'm guessing CodeSandbox was not saving properly. just to make sure I'm not losing my mind. I'm going to try it back with an H1. Control S to save, and refresh my little preview over here, and everything looks the same. I changed my color to blue. Control S to save. Refresh, there we go, blue. Okay, so I just was not saving. Anyways, so you can say like H1 over here. However, that will apply to every single H1 in all of your web page. So if I did that with LI, and I said color red, save that, refresh, all of my list items are red, all of them. If I just wanted one to be red, I could add a class here, class equals double quotes, and we'll say this one is danger. You gotta be careful about item 1. Well, we only want the ones that are dangerous to be read. So instead of LI, we're going to do dot DANGER. Save that and refresh. And now only our dangerous one is read. We'll label it as such too. Dangerous item 1. There we go. So only dangerous item 1 is read. So classes are really great for that. Say I want another one, I could say LI. Class equals danger, dangerous fox. And then should make that closing one. And as you can see, only our 2 dangerous ones. Not because I wrote dangerous. Maybe make that scary just to show you the difference. Only our 2 dangerous ones are red because I have class danger on them. Being told I'm going a little fast, so I'll slow it down a tiny bit here. So yeah. In general, too, with these sessions, please feel free to change these up however you want. Just because mine says "Welcome to my website" does not mean yours has to. Please make it your own. You don't need to have the same picture as I do, or the same lists or colors. Please try and make them your own. Alright, so say we didn't like this color right here. Say we wanted a different color red. Instead of just typing out the name of the color, we could also type out RGB for red, green, blue, parentheses, and then this takes 3 numbers. The first number will be red, and is a value somewhere between 0 and 255. There's a reason why, but it's not important. Just need to know it's between 0 and 255. So we want this one to be fully red, so we'll do 255. You can put in a bigger number than 255, but the computer will always just round down to 255. Same with 0, you could put a negative number in there, but the computer will always round up to 0. Don't want any, well, we'll put a little splash of green there, we'll put about 50. And then blue, we'll do the same. We'll do 50 blue as well. And then we'll save that and refresh. That is still looking very red. How about we try 150 blue? That's looking a little bit more magenta now. Let's see, 175. See how that looks. Very magenta, at least for me. If you wanted to play with a different color, you could say, hey, I only want 55 blue, and we'll take 150 green. Save that and refresh, and then now we got kind of a greenish blue, maybe a tealish. Not great with my color names, I'm sorry, but close. So yeah, so that's one way to do colors. If you don't want this color, or if you want to comment this out, which means to leave it there just as information for the next person to read, but not actually display, I hit Control/, and that'll put these little extra slash star, and at the beginning and at the end another star slash. You can type out whatever you want there. So like I can say some notes go there. Hello. Whatever you put there is just for you to read later. It won't actually show up anywhere out here. It's just a nice little handy thing. You can also actually do the same thing down in your HTML when you hit Control/. Instead of being /*// you get this pattern of bracket, !, dash is the opening part of the comment, and the closing part is -- bracket. And then hello comments, ! anything you put there, as you can see, it is not showing up between my title and my image, because this is just for us and anyone else reading the code. It is not for the viewer of our website to see. Anyways, back to colors. A couple other ways to do colors. Let's see, danger. I'm gonna keep that kind of teal color in the front, but I want a background color on it as well. So we're gonna type out background - color. And then colon space, and you can also do something called hex colors. Hex starts with a hashtag or a £, whatever you want to call it. If you want to go super old, you can call it an octothorpe, old name. And then we're going to be putting in 3 colors again: red, green, and blue. However, in this case, instead of being from 0 to 255 using irregular decimal numbers, they're going to be using hex. Hex, if you're not familiar, goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then A, B, C, D, E, F. So a number, for example, the number 10 in hex is A. The number 11 in hex is B. So I don't expect anyone to memorize that. I definitely have not memorized it. I just kind of have to say it over and over in my head every time I work with it. But I definitely do see it for colors. So we can kind of play around. I don't know what 55 is in hex off the top of my head. We'll play around. We'll have like AA for red, and then blue we'll do 6-6, and then for green we'll do 8-8. And we'll put our semicolon on the end, save that, and refresh. And hey, we got ourselves kind of a berry, kind of like a blueberry raspberry background. Super not legible at all, but it's a start. Maybe we'll go a lot darker with this. AA is probably way too bright. Let's drop this down to like 4-4. See what that does. It's not readable still. Let's drop our 8-8 down to 3-3. Save and refresh. Still not very readable. Drop our 6-6 down to 2-2. A little bit better. Not bad. Not bad at all. So this might be a little tiny. I don't even know if you can see it from my screen, but you know, say we want to make it a little bit bigger. We can do some font dash size, and we'll make this 20px for pixels. Save and we'll refresh here. Now let's go bigger. Let's double that. We'll go 40 pixels. Save and refresh. There we go. Now I can read it. But as you notice, our item 2 is still a little small. That doesn't look right to me. So let's go back, and we want that for all list items. So I'm just going to cut with Control X and paste with Control V, because we want that font size to apply to all of our items, not just our dangerous one. There we go. That's better. That's much better. All right. Next thing, I don't really like how this is like right at the edge there. I want a little bit extra space around. I want the box to go around the text. So we're going to add some padding, colon. So padding takes 4 numbers. The first one is for the top, the second one is for the right, third one is for the bottom, and the fourth one is for the left. So we're going to add, thinking about 8 pixels on the top, 16 on the right, 8 again on the bottom, and 16 on the left. Save that and refresh. There we go. And you don't have to worry about the right one too much. We do have a lot of extra space there, but it'll handle it. It'll be fine. You won't really notice it unless you had a really long name here. Maybe you do. All right. Where are some other good ones to go over? Well, actually, even before we get there, how about we talk about, since we're in CodeSandbox, and I mentioned earlier that you can share this stuff. Top up here, there's a blue button that says share. If I click that, I want to say, I'll say can view. I'm going to copy the sandbox link, and I'm going to paste that into chat. So if you clicked on that, that should open up a new tab for you, which I'm demonstrating here. Load in, and you would have access to everything I've been working on, and you can start typing on it. If you don't want to, that's perfectly fine. But that's a nice way to like work together with someone. Oh, Dying Dorito, thanks for the follow. So yeah, so if you want to share it with someone else to work on, if you want to share it just for someone else to view as well, you can do, if I copy this up here, and I paste that into a new tab, you can actually see what the website itself looks like. And that's just this little URL up here. Same thing you would normally go. So if I were to just share that part, you can do the same. You're like, hey mom, I want to show you my website that I've been working on. You can give them just that little piece and they can see exactly what you've been working on. And as you're working, they can refresh their browser and see all the changes you've made, which is pretty awesome. I hope everyone's keeping up. If you're not, please message in chat, or if you're looking for any help while this is going on, be happy to take a moment and help you with whatever you're having difficulties with. Maybe it's something else, something that someone else is also having difficulties with, and we can work through it together for everyone's benefit. If not, we'll just kind of keep going, but either way, yeah. I hope everyone's enjoying themselves, learning a little something. If I'm going too slow at all, or if I'm going too fast, either one, please don't hesitate to let me know. You can always change it up. All right. So everything's going well. So we have the ability to apply our styles for all the same element. We also have the ability to apply styles for anything with the same class name, which we have two of. There's another helpful one. You can apply styles for an ID. In order to apply styles for an ID, we're going to start with our style first. We start with a hashtag, and the name of our ID, dog-picture, do our brackets, and we will do, what will we do? Try a different width here. Since we have width of 400 pixels down here, we'll just so we can see the difference, we'll do 600 pixels up here. I'm going to copy and paste that dog picture. So anything with that ID of dog picture will now get this width of 600 pixels. So if I type in ID equals, double quotes, and I paste in dog picture, and I'm going to get rid of this width down here. Did not like that. Okay. Was not sure if that was going to work or not. Never actually tried it, but it is something. Pictures do tend to get a little weird, a little finicky. 400 pixels works. Maybe it was working. Maybe it was just way too big. Let's try 500. It does seem to be working. Just need to save and refresh. 600, save and refresh. There we go. So now, instead of having to control our width and height down here, we can control it up here. We could also say, don't always have to work in pixels, say you always want it to be half the width of your screen. You could do 50%, save and refresh. Now, it resizes as I drag my screen around. It's always 50%. Or say I wanted the height, instead of width, I want it to be height 50%. So now, 50% of whatever available height we have, which is fun. And go back to width though, and do some undos. We'll stick at 500 pixels, that seems pretty nice. All right. If there's anything anyone had any particular questions about as well, feel free to ask them. If you want to know how to do something specific, such as pictures or anything else, please feel free to ask. Gladly help everyone work through that as well. Stuff got cut off a little bit in there. All right. Some other ones. So the background of our website, that can also be modified. Let's see, body, because that is the name of our body right here. Don't like this padding. I think maybe I want a little bit more padding. Actually, no. I think I would like everything kind of centered. So I'm going to change the display here, and I want one called flex, and display flex, and that initially, now if I save and refresh, everything's kind of wonky and you're like, why do that? It looks really weird. Well, I can add another one here called flex-direction. And I don't want everything to be in a row, I want it to be in a column. Save that, refresh, right? So we're now back and you're like, Wolfgang, that's exactly the same thing we had before. Why do that? Well, I'm going to add another one called align-items. Center, hey, everything is now centered right down the middle of the screen. Super, super nice for me. That's exactly what I was looking for. Centered right down the center of the screen. You could also, there's also other ones. There is flex end. If I had done flex end, everything is along the right hand side. There's also flex start. Flex start, put everything to the left hand side. But I like the center one. Center one's, I think that's where I'm headed right now. I believe that also means we can get rid of our text align center because we don't need to specify that just our title centered. We got everything centered, everything. All right. So now that we have everything centered, what else? Well, I want to move my list item. I'm going to move that down below my paragraph here. I'm going to cut and paste that down below. Make this look clean up a little bit. I'm going to bump this down size. We're just going to say 16 pixels. That's a little bit nicer, I think, for list. It doesn't need to be that big. We'll update our paragraph. Hello, everyone. Welcome to my website. For me, you could say something like here you will find the various projects I work on, as well as a collection of my photography. I don't actually have any photography, but maybe you do. Maybe you want to share it on your website. I don't know. So that looks a little weird to me. So I'm going to give this a class. This is going to be called welcome-paragraph. I want to give this some styling. So we'll go up in our style tags here. Dot welcome-paragraph, some squiggly brackets, and yeah, I want this to have not just a specific width, but I want to have a max dash width of, let's just try 500 pixels, so that we match our dog picture here. Save and refresh. There we go. Nice little, kind of matches up with our dog picture. Even as you resize, that's pretty nice. If we make it a little bit smaller, dog picture gets a little scrunched up, but our paragraph works out pretty nicely. So that's nice and centered. You know, I don't really like this font. I personally am more of a sans serif kind of guy. So we'll go font dash family, and I'm going to do sans serif. And I'll refresh. There we go. Just my style. Doesn't have to be everyone's. You can put other fonts in there as well. There's just the basic ones the browser comes with, and then later on, you know, in another session, we can talk about getting your own fonts in there, all kinds of fancy fonts, better ones for reading, all kinds. All right, so we have that. I don't know what I want with my list items here yet, but it's there. What else can we do to improve our website? We're going to stream for maybe about 12 more minutes or so. So let's see what else we can get in here, make our website look real nice. Paragraph. trying to think of some fun ones we could add. If you had a video you wanted to link, you could add a video tag, and you can do it just like the video. You can add your source in there. I don't have any video, but you can do that. Get rid of that. Doesn't get upset with us. What else? Eventually, if you want to add some interaction, you can add a button, add the closing, inside or button, let's click me. I have a little button on here. Doesn't actually do anything yet, but we'll get to that later eventually. Some other fun ones that you could play around with. Input. This one is also kind of like image in that it just has, it's called self-closing, so there's just a slash bracket. And you can type in here, type all kinds of stuff in there. There's one called, got my bracket there, text area. This one takes closing. And now we have ourselves a little area we can type all kinds of things in. And we can also drag and resize these, add new lines, all kinds of stuff. If you need to type out a paragraph, some other ones you can play around, there is a select. This also gets a closing. And inside here we can put some options. Our closing tag, first option, gain option 1. And I will make this a little more. Apple. I'm just going to copy and paste this a couple times. We can do orange, banana, and a pear. So now you can see we got ourselves a nice little select input. Oh, interesting. No, it doesn't look like that shows up on the stream, but there is a select input there if you click yours, and it allows you to change what is selected. So yeah, you can see we're starting to get the basics for a form, so that people could enter information and send it, such as like maybe an order form or entering in a login, things like that. Yeah, I think that's about all I was planning on covering for the first night. Does anyone have any questions they would like to ask? Anything specific you'd like me to go over? Anything you're not sure about or I was unclear about? I hope I've left you with enough to kind of play around until tomorrow night. Make something of your own if you would like to share it tomorrow night. That would be pretty awesome. Yeah. Also, when you hit save, if you noticed, some of my stuff got reorganized here when I hit save. CodeSandbox will do a lot of that for you. Try to make everything look nice and consistent. It's mostly about consistency, so that way if you go read someone else's code, you kind of know what to expect, because it all kind of looks similar in terms of shape. So yeah, so we went over a bit of just the basic structure of what a web page looks like, some basic tags that you can do. Don't forget to check MDN if you want to look at more, or if you're working in CodeSandbox, just hit the little bracket and you can kind of then just scroll down through these. It'll give you a whole bunch to suggest. As you start typing, you will start to suggest more of them. While we're here, table's kind of a fun one to play around with. If you want to play around with that, I do suggest it. We'll do MDN table. Yeah, I'll link this one in chat. Definitely a fun one to play around with. Learn is a little different than the rest of these. If you want to go through and play with some of my stuff, just click that link that I shared earlier that links you to this and go and mess around with it and change it. We've got our styles up here. Feel free to play around with those, play around with colors, try and find some other ones. If you notice, if you start typing in CodeSandbox, it will start to try and suggest some for you. I really, really invite you to just try and play around and see what you come up with. Half the fun of it is seeing what happens. It also will kind of help reinforce muscle memory of like, hey, when I do this, here's what happens. When I specify color, it changes the color of my text. When I specify font family, it changes how the text looks. Stuff like that. So yeah. Yeah, and if I did go too fast, or if you want to rewatch any of this later, I will be putting it up on YouTube. For anyone that came late and didn't see it, I will add a link to the videos in this Google Doc. And if anyone isn't able to access that, please let me know so that I can make sure you get access. Yeah, I will add links to the YouTube clips up on there so that you can go back and rewatch them later, hopefully get a good understanding of what happened, and if you just need a refresher as well. Otherwise, hope you all have a great evening, and I will hopefully see you tomorrow. Bye.